I swear, I didn't set out to declare war on my HOA. I moved to this quiet, tree-lined neighborhood to escape chaos, not wade straight into it. But 5 days after my historic stone fountain was bulldozed without warning, I found myself knee-deep in law books, preservation codes, and revenge plans. All because someone named Linda thought she had more power than the law. And folks, let me tell you, she messed with the wrong guy. So here's what happened. 3 months ago, I bought this beautiful 1920s Spanish-style bungalow. It wasn't cheap, but what sold me beyond the hand-carved wooden beams and clay roof tiles was the fountain out front. It stood right in the middle of the circular driveway, a 3-tiered limestone beauty with lion heads and blue mosaic inlays. The original homeowner told me it was designed by a student of Julia Morgan. You don't touch something like that. You respect it. Apparently, no one told the HOA that. I got back from a weekend trip, saw orange cones, broken limestone everywhere, and a contractor packing up a backhoe like it was just another Monday. My stomach dropped. I stood there, mouth open, trying to form words while Linda, HOA president and full-time menace, waltzed up in her tennis skirt with a clipboard and said, "It didn't meet uniform aesthetic standards. You'll think us once the new landscaping sin." I damn near blacked out. I said, "You touched my fountain?" She had the audacity to laugh. "It was an eyesore. We have bylaws, David. You should have submitted it for review." I told her it was original to the house, and she rolled her eyes. "Doesn't matter. We voted." Let me pause and explain something. The HOA here has a Napoleon complex. They're not just power-hungry, they're petty. This is the same HOA that fined my neighbor $50 for hanging a seasonal wreath too early. But this was different. They didn't just fine me or send a warning letter. They destroyed property, historic property, and that's where they messed up. I did what anyone with righteous rage and a little legal background would do. I started digging. Turns out, my home fountain and all was listed in the county's historic resource inventory. That fountain, registered, protected. That little lion head relic was legally off limits, which meant Linda and her landscaping thugs had committed a violation that could trigger state-level consequences. But instead of going nuclear right away, I decided to let the rope tighten on its own. I played it cool for a few days, smiled at the next board meeting, even brought brownies. When Linda smugly mentioned how the new xeriscaping project was going to save water and improve neighborhood cohesion, I smiled back and said, "That's great. Hey, just curious, did you get a demolition permit for the fountain?" The look on her face was priceless, like a cat that heard a vacuum turn on. She bluffed. "We don't need one. It was on private property." "Oh, Linda." 2 days later, I filed an official complaint with the County Office of Historic Preservation. I included before and after photos, date-stamped footage from my Ring camera, and even a copy of the original historic designation form. Then I made a quiet call to a preservation lawyer I knew from grad school. What followed was a beautiful, bureaucratic symphony of escalating pressure. First, the county sent a cease and desist to the HOA, then came a public notice demanding restoration of the destroyed artifact. When Linda ignored that, the city planner herself showed up at my house, clipboard in hand, eyebrows raised, asking where the original materials had been taken. Spoiler alert, the HOA had thrown them in a dumpster. At this point, things started unraveling fast. The county slapped the HOA with a $28,000 fine for unauthorized demolition of protected heritage. That's when Linda got desperate. She tried to turn the neighborhood against me. At the next HOA meeting, she stood in front of 30 homeowners and called me vindictive, accused me of holding the neighborhood hostage with obsolete architecture, and even claimed I had asked them to remove the fountain. I stood up, calmly, and said, "I never gave consent. In fact, I have the emails where I warned you it was protected. Would anyone like to see them?" The room turned on her like a bad TikTok trend. But here's the kicker: just when I thought things had hit their peak, a side twist walked in wearing khakis and a Parks Department badge. His name was Ryan, a quiet guy who introduced himself as the state's historic properties field officer. He'd been looped in by my lawyer because my home didn't just fall under county protection, it also qualified for state funding if it had been damaged by an HOA. And now they owed me money. A lot of money. Ryan laid it out in the most deliciously bland tone you can imagine. Due to the HOA's unapproved destruction of registered architecture, we've deemed this eligible for full restitution under State Historic Code 4.2. That includes labor, materials, and legal fees. Estimated cost, $94,000. You could practically see the blood drain from Linda's face. She sputtered, tried to interrupt, but Ryan was on a roll. Furthermore, any further changes to this property, including landscaping, must be approved by the county and the state. So I'd advise you to halt whatever xeriscaping you've planned. The backlash from the neighborhood was instant. No one wanted their dues raised to cover the fine. People started calling for Linda's removal. A petition circulated within 48 hours. And just like that, Linda went from queen of the cul-de-sac to persona non grata. 2 weeks later, contractors arrived to begin rebuilding the fountain. Every last detail had to be restored using the same limestone style, with custom-carved lion heads and mosaic work flown in from a specialty artisan in Santa Fe. Paid for in full by the HOA's reserve funds, which Linda had mismanaged so badly, they had to cancel the annual block party to stay solvent. And me? I didn't gloat. Okay, maybe just a little. I stood on my porch with a coffee, watching them rebuild what they had so arrogantly destroyed. And every time Linda passed by, now demoted to a regular member with no voting power, I gave her a friendly nod and said, "Looks better than ever, doesn't it?" She never responded. But karma had. And I'll leave you with this because it's not just about a fountain. It's about people thinking they can bulldoze history. That rules don't apply to them. That just because they have